A couple of weeks ago, I wrote a blog post talking about ethics. And I told the story about years ago when I went to a casino and I found some money and how I tried to find a way to give it back. And it turned out to be an interesting adventure. But I still felt that I did the right thing because those are my ethics. My ethics usually say, you know what, you got to try to do what's the right thing to do at all times. And only if the consequences end up coming your way, then you accept it and you move on. And I was talking with a friend of mine about this, and I remembered an interesting story that happened when I was about 23 or 24 years old. But I have to go back further than that. I've always had this sense of ethics, but one of the ethics I had is that people got what they deserved if they did something bad, or if they messed with you or messed with other people that you cared about. And that way, my sign used to be, you know what, if somebody hit a friend of mine and then they get hit back by a lot of people, they deserved it because they started it. And I lived with that kind of ethic for a long time. Luckily, I got older and, fights didn't happen all that often. Actually, probably almost rare. But there was this thing that happened to me, and I was following what I saw was ethical, but luckily my dad was there. And here's the story. So I had one of the earliest digital watches that they ever made. It was the coolest thing. It had 4 buttons on it, and each button that you pushed could do something different. And it was digital, so it had a gray background, and it was cool. It was, like I said, this was supposedly cutting edge. And it was a watch that was around $100 or so, which for me was a lot because I was used to buying Timexes for around 20. So, I'm thinking this is a really good watch. The thing is, I bought it at a place called Service Merchandise. For those of you who might not remember, Service Merchandise, I believe, closed in the late 80s. But it used to be kind of a cool store. They had all kinds of stuff. And what would happen is you would take a ticket off of an item you wanted. You would go up to the desk. You would pay for it. And then you'd go and wait. And then someone in the back would put it on these metal rollers and it would roll out to you. It was kind of cool. I can only imagine why they ended up closing, but they did. Anyway, the watch stopped on me about 3 or 4 months in. So I took it back, and it had a warranty of 6 months. So I got a free watch, figured everything was fine. That watch only lasted 2 months. Like, what the devil is this? So I took it back. I got another watch. That one only lasted 3 months. Now I'm irked because I paid a lot more money for this watch than I ever did with a Timex, and none of my Timexes ever broke on me. So I was upset. I go back, this time with Dad, and I said, what is it with this watch? I've paid a lot of money for this thing and it's not working. I think this needs to be rectified. So the guy says, yep, I'm sorry. Here, it's still under warranty. We'll get you another watch. So we go over to the tray waiting for the watch to come down the metal wheels, and it comes down. So I look at it, and I'm a little wary about it this time. And then another one comes down, and another one comes down. So now I have 3 watches, and I'm looking at the 3 things that I have in my hand, and I said, you know what? I think that's justice because they messed up 3 times. And I'm ready to go because that's how I saw it. And Dad said, I'm not necessarily sure that's the right thing to do. I said, but what do you mean? I got messed with 3 different times over, in less than a year. They've done this. I think I deserve this. And he said, well, the problem is that you're taking out your anger on the wrong people. The guy who took your ticket, it wasn't his fault that your watch broke. And the people in the back who kept sending you the watches, it's not their fault because you're not sure what they saw that the guy sent you. So I think that you should take it back. Take 2 of them back and just take the 1. And I wasn't necessarily happy at the moment, but I thought about it and I said, I guess Dad does make a good ethical point. So I went to the desk And I said to the guy that they sent me 3 watches, but I only brought 1 back, and I'm only going to take 1 because that's what I came back for. And the guy thanked me for that, and he says, I don't know what happened. I'm glad that you were honest enough to bring it back. And I'll tell you the truth. I didn't feel good in the moment, but when I got home, I realized my dad was right, that it was time to kind of change the ethics of things like that, and saying that whatever someone did wrong to you, it's okay if you got more than wrong back. And that's the kind of thing of saying that someone accidentally tripped you and you pulled out a gun and you killed them. And you say, well, that's what you get for tripping me. And no, we don't need that kind of thing. And yes, I had gotten 3 watches, but that was about $300 worth of watches, where initially I only spent $100, and it didn't cost me anything except gas. But you know, back then gas was $1.10 a gallon, so it really didn't hurt anything. And you know, I had to modify how I thought about ethics and things like that. And truthfully, I do still sometimes have moments where I say, you know what, that's karma. What happened to that person is karma. But as long as it's not me doing it, I can sit there and say, yeah, if it had been me, I would have done it a different way. But however it happened, you know, you don't applaud people and you don't pay them for their bad behavior. Anyhow, that's my thought on ethics. I'm going to put a link to the blog post if you decide you want to check that out. But, you know, I'd like to know what your thought is. Do you think that there are those times where everybody gets what they deserve? Or do you think that sometimes it's over the edge and it's better to follow your own ethics? Y'all let me know. See, a short video for once. Anyway, my name's Mitch Mitchell. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And don't expect me to wear nice shirts like this again. Bye.